We are coming to you from the city beautiful Chicago, Illinois, where tonight Comcast Sportsnet presents White Sox baseball. It's Jose Abreu, Avi Garcia, Melky Cabrera, and the Sox as they get set to butt heads with Mike Trout, Albert Pujols, and Mike Scioscia's Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Hi, everybody, and welcome. I'm Ken Harrelson, and welcome back, Steve Stone.
Thank you.
As we begin this three-game set in this six-game homestand, we'll have three with these guys and off day on Thursday. Then the Cubs come in Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So as you know, the Sox are just coming off that three-game loss to Kansas City over the weekend. We lost the first game 3-2. We lost game 2 7-6. We lost game yesterday 5-4. It's not we should have won those games, but we could have won those things. And it was one of those things where we just didn't execute. But tonight, trying to get back on the right track, Chris Sale.
You couldn't ask for anybody better, although lately Chris has really struggled. He's just 1-3 in his last 4 starts. As you can see, the ERA way up there, unsale-like at 7.61. And on the other side of the equation, the last 3 starts for Matt Shoemaker have been really good. He's 1-0. He's got a scoreless streak of 19 innings. So although Chris Sale has never lost to the Angels, Shoemaker is a hot starter right now. I'm favoring Chris Sale tonight.
All right. Mike Trout, the guy who's just turned 24 years old, has 2 seconds and a first in the MVP voting. Up until late July, he was really good again this year, but he hurt himself in good Trout, bad Trout.
Well, unfortunately, he dove for a ball in left field, rolled over his wrist. That's been problematic. And the reason is that he was the July Player of the Month. He's got 33 home runs, tied for the Major League lead with Nelson Cruz. But Trout really makes this team go. If he's not going, they got some problems. And in August, there's been some problems. He's hitting 125, just 4 for 32 with just 1 lone home run. Driven in 2, he struck out 11 times. Hopefully, that wrist is not going to get a whole lot better in these 3 games, because if you can hold down Trout, you can hold down the Angels.
All right, it's a beautiful night to win a ball game, so sit back, relax, and strap it down. White Sox baseball coming your way.
to you in part by your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, through it all. Audi, truth in engineering. Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. And by Toyota. The annual clearance event is going on now. Toyota, let's go places.
Welcome back to beautiful U.S. Cellular Field on a gorgeous night for baseball. 78 degrees at game time. It's humid. It's a great night for pitching, and Chris Sale will go to the mound to try to prove that. Let's take a look at how Mike Scioscia is going to line up his Angels, who find themselves right in the thick of the wild card race. Shane Victorino leading it off with Cole Calhoun in the 2 spot. Then it's Mike Trout, who's been struggling this month, although he's, as you know, a devastating hitter. Albert Pujols also been struggling with Eric Ibar, C.J. Cron, Johnny Giavotella, Chris Iannetta, and Taylor Featherston. The defense and how they'll line up behind Chris Sale, Melky Cabrera in left, Adam Eaton in center, and Avi Garcia in right field. Then in the infield, Tyler Saladino, Alexi Ramirez, Carlos Sanchez, and Adam LaRoche. Behind the plate, Tyler Flowers gets a nod. And our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher is Chris Sale, looking for his 10th win in this his 22nd start. He's tied for second in strikeouts in the American League with 186. Only Chris Archer of Tampa Bay has more. The umpires for the game this evening: Manny Gonzalez behind the plate, Marcus Patillo is at first, Fielden Culbreth, the crew chief, is at second, and Jim Reynolds is at third. Mike Scioscia has the second most wins of any active manager, behind only Bruce Bochy. There you look at the numbers, they're most impressive, and he's done a pretty good job of keeping this team afloat. So they've thrown the ball around the infield, which means we're ready to play baseball. And I'm ready to turn it over to my play-by-play partner, Ken Harrelson.
Hi, Steve. Thank you very much. And once again, good evening, everyone, and welcome to White Sox baseball right here at beautiful U.S. Cellular Field. Shane Victorino will get set to lead it off. Newly acquired from the Red Sox. 34-year-old veteran, a .277 career hitter in the first pitch of the ball game is way outside. That's what Chris has been struggling with the last couple starts, is his command of the strike zone. Big gap out there in left center. There's the strike. Angels come in hitting at .247 as a team with a 3.62 ERA.
The only thing that's been able to hold down Shane Victorino over the course of his career is the disabled list. A lot of injuries, been DL'd 11 times. When he's right, he can be a devastating player. But getting right is the key.
He goes, change up.
Good straight change. This one way out of the zone. He had Victorino out on the front foot. The hands moved and no contact.
So here's Cole Calhoun, the right fielder, hitting at .276, 16 homers and 60 driven in. Takes first pitch strike, that one at 98. That breaking ball hangs inside.
Calhoun's a very solid player. Last year they used him in the 1 spot, and when elevating him to the 1 spot, he hit .281 with an on-base percentage just about .340 as a leadoff hitter. That slider devastating for a left-hand hitter. It's not even a trip to the beach for a right-hand hitter.
Not from that angle.
Nope.
Get over there. He will. Nice speed. First meeting of the year between these two clubs. Last year we played 6 times and they won 5 of them.
robin after a very tough streak for the ball club. Losers of 8 of their last 10, hoping to find a little bit of coordination between the defensive pitching and the hitting. The hitting has been very good lately, but they've had a few pitching letdowns.
The hitting's been good when there was nobody on base. Yeah.
Driving into key right. Execution, I guess.
Execution. That was that 3-game series against Kansas City. If you take us talent for talent, we're probably a little better than Kansas City. They just play better. They execute better than we do. When they've got to execute, when they got a man on second, they get him over to third, and then they probably get him in. When they got a man on second, third, nobody out, they'll get at least one. And most of the time, two. Trout just rips that one into left field. That big man, Milwaukee falls down. And he is big.
Well, Trout had stayed at first base, and Melky saw his feet go out from under him, because Trout was not going to go to second base. You can't throw the ball down to this guy. He's a dead low ball hitter, and he shows you right here with a good short stroke. Melky's got it, and then, whoops. You're not going to throw him out from your posterior.
No, he's too fast. Trout is a big man. They got him listed as 6'2", 235, and you stand next to him, he looks bigger than that. So here is the venerable Albert Pujols. What a great player. What a great hitter he has been. What a great inspiration. What an asset to the game of baseball.
He's really had a good bounce back year this year. You look at those numbers. He had base percentages in there because he doesn't draw many walks, but they look to him as a run producer, and he produces runs. He's really had a hard time with Chris Sale. I believe he's 1 for 12 lifetime against him. That one hit was a home run.
A lot of guys have had a tough time with Chris. And that pitch down in the end.
In Major League history, the most 30 home run seasons, Hank Aaron, Alex Rodriguez, Barry Bonds, and then Pujols, Ruth, and Schmidt tied with 30 home run seasons or more. Pretty impressive list.
Albert, 550 home runs in his career. The thing about Pujols, though, is, you take like a Triple Crown winner. The last one, Miguel Cabrera. He won that Triple Crown in the midst of a pennant race.
Yep.
Prior to him, Yastrzemski in '67 won the Triple Crown in the midst of what they call the greatest pennant race in the history of the game. Pujols has been one of those guys. Don't tell me what you hit. Tell me when you hit it. And he hit it at the right times.
Well, his team, and he came up with St. Louis, spent a great deal of time there. They were always in a pennant race, seemingly. And Albert was always the biggest run producer in the lineup. So you'd have to figure that they would want whoever comes up behind him to beat him instead of Albert. Yet you look at the numbers by Pujols, and they're astonishing.
Checks it up on that. He did not go. Said first base umpire Marcus Patillo.
Tried to bury that slider low and in, and Albert does check it up.
Albert's one of those guys who have been must-see TV. You pay to go see this man play if you love baseball. He gone. Nice changeup. And that'll retire the side. Nothing because it was a double by Trout. After half inning play, it's the Halos nothing and the good guys coming back.
out there, Eaton, Saladino, and Abreu with Cabrera, Garcia, LaRoche, and Ramirez, followed by Carlos Sanchez, who's done real well lately, and Tyler Flowers. The defense, and how they'll line up behind Matt Shoemaker, left to right, Victorino, Trout, and Calhoun. In the infield, Featherston, Ivar, Giovitella, and Pujols. Chris Iannetta behind the plate, and our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher is Matt Shoemaker. On for his 20th start, his 21st game overall. The record not all that impressive, but what is impressive is almost a strikeout per inning. He's got an adequate fastball, might be topping out at 93. Pitches a little lower than that, and he's got a good splitter. That's his second best pitch. Consequently, throws a lot of ground balls.
16-4 last year for these guys. And one of the remarkable things about it, he signed with the Angels as a non-drafted free agent out of Eastern Michigan.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is. And before we show you our picks to click you at home, select yours. As here is Adam Eaton. Adam at 268, 9 homers, 27 driven in. And there's a base hit into center field. He's now 3 for 4 lifetime off Shoemaker.
Adam gets this one down and in. It's a fastball, doesn't do a whole lot, and he's not going to overwhelm you with velocity. So he takes it right back up the middle. His red-hot hitting continues, and it's a good way to start the first.
So here's Tyler. Nice round of applause. He's quickly catching on very nicely here in the City Beautiful. Tyler, 240, 3 homers, 8 knocked in, but throwing some extreme leather at third base.
Last year, an amazing year for Shoemaker in that he went 16-4 with an ERA just over 3. That was in just 20 starts, 7 times out of the bullpen, only through 136 innings. That's a lot of wins to be out there only for 136 innings.
And then you throw in a non-drafted free agent.
Yeah, a guy who gets just about everything over the plate. You look at those numbers from last year, just 24 walks.
Well, there were 30 teams that missed on him.
Yes, a number of times.
Adam 11 for 15 in stolen bases. Sox 41 up and 30 down in that category.
Iannetta not the greatest throwing catcher in the league, so this is a good combination to run against.
Pitch out. And here's the ballpark. 330 down the left field line, 335 down the right field line, 375 in the gaps, and 400 straightaway center. Very disappointing series if you miss that series in Kansas City. As I said, it's 3 one-run games, 3-2, 7-6, and 5-4. And it's not that we should have won them, but we certainly could have. We just did not play well as far as execution goes. And they had some terrific plays at the corners with Hosmer and Moustakas.
They're pretty strong defensively all the way around, and when they get Alex Gordon back, which, by the way, is in the not-too-distant future, they're going to be even stronger. He's a 4-time Gold Glover in left field.
That's how to play. Well, let's put it this way. Hosmer's good, and he's a better defensive player at first base than our guy. But I'll take our guy. Well, I wouldn't trade our guy for Hosmer.
No,
okay.
Nor would I.
I like Sanchez better than I like Infante.
I would say that Omar's best years are probably behind him.
Yes. 2 good shortstops out there. Escobar gets on base more. Third base, you got to take Moustakas.
Yeah, he's been, well, this has been a renaissance year for him because he kept on wondering what to do with him, and finally Ned Yost decided he's going to put him in the 2 spot, and that seemed to turn everything around. He's always been a great defender at third. Now he's a very productive third baseman. It all started in the playoffs last year after a dismal year. He tore him up in the playoffs.
Yeah, he did. And you got to take Melky with Gordon being out for a long time, whoever they put out there. Lorenzo Cain having a tremendous year, so he gets the nod to center. And you got to take Avi over Rios. So defensively and talent-wise, and then you take our starting pitchers a lot better than their starting pitching. I think they got a tick on us in the bullpen because the records run numbers would show that. So overall, we are probably a little better talented than they are, but they execute better than we do. And they play with that edge too, which I love. Full count. Anytime you see a team that plays with an edge, you're probably looking at a winner.
Was there any explanation in Kansas City why Wade Davis was not used in the entire series?
Not, Steve, not a word.
Because that's the first thing that jumped out at me. Here's a guy that always shuts him down in the eighth and never made an appearance
in one-run ball games. No, I asked a couple of guys, and all they did was just shrug. There's a shot base hit. That will make the turn. Calhoun will get him back in. So runners at the corners and nobody out. Don't stop now, boys.
Tyler worked the count to 3-2 by laying off a good slider. Then he slices a fastball into right field. Eaton was not going, almost got hit with this one, but it's behind him. He easily makes it over to third base. And so, a very good way to start. Sox in the last 15 games have hit over 400 in the first inning. So this is just a continuation offensively of what's been going on lately.
Here's Jose Abreu at 293, 21 homers, 67 driven in. Now he has faced Shoemaker 3 times, and he drew the collar. Kyler, good lead over there. Up here, he has not been running. He's just 2 for 4, but in Charlotte, he was 25 for 27.
There you look at the last 19 games, and Jose has been hot. Hitting the ball out of the ballpark 7 times, hitting 329, driving in 21, scoring 14. But if you're Schumacher out there, you're going to concede the man at third. You want Jose to ground into a double play. That's what you're trying to accomplish in this at-bat.
Pitch just off the plate. Another good lead by Saladino. And another good eye by Abreu. That's a big pitch. Well, what a difference. 1-2 or 2-1.
Iannetta has called sinkers 3 straight pitches. 2 of them just barely out of the zone.
That's just foul, says Jim Reynolds. That's close.
Featherston's a good defensive third baseman. He's got good hands. He's got a very strong arm. And the bat has not come around yet, but that ball just on the left side of the bag.
Yeah, not much. Just by much.
That was the 4th straight pitch in essentially the same location as he's trying to induce a ground ball to the left side. This might be a good time for Tyler to run.
Looks like he's got about a quarter more step. Maybe not quite that much. He's not going. And a full count.
It would appear, and hopefully this comes about, that the 19-inning scoreless streak for Matt Shoemaker will go by the boards with runners at the corners and nobody out. Shh. Oh no, we get at least 1 here, probably 2.
Payoff pitch. There he goes. And he yanks that one foul.
That looked like the splitter. And he got out in front of it. This ball is too close to take. Does have some late sink. Jose beat it into the ground with foul.
Outfield have not moved on the count. Still a gap out there in left center. Long set. There he goes. And he makes a good pitch on him. Ate him up inside. Everybody has to hold. So with one out, let's check out our picks to click. Manjo, our director and crew, well, they went with Alexi. Steve's going with Adam Eaton and David Novak and all the great folks out at Pookie Hyundai in Downers Grove. We're going to go with Adam LaRoche. So here's Melky. Melky hitting at .282, 7 homers, 55 knocked in. That ball hit hard. Calhoun over, makes the catch right up against the Xfinity sign. So Eaton will tag. He will score in his 1-0 Sox.
Melky with his 8th sacrifice fly of the year. For an instant, it looked like that one might leave the ballpark, but it was not to be. No factor whatsoever. Melky gets a good pitch to hit. It's a splitter that didn't do a whole lot, but more toward the end of the bat, and that's why it didn't go out. That's by Calhoun. But the Sox break on top.
And here's Javi Garcia, 264, 9 homers, 38 RBIs. There he goes. And the throw is not in time. So he picks up his 3rd stolen base.
That stolen base is going to be out there for any of the Sox guys who can steal bases. Not a real good throw. Tyler gets a very good jump. Even with a good throw, it's going to be really close. Most likely they wouldn't have gotten it.
Now pick him up. Count evens at 1. Bottom of the 1st in Kansas City. Royals leading the Tigers 3-0. Cueto. Checks it up.
Johnny had a real good closer in Cincinnati when he was there, but the guys getting it to Aroldis Chapman weren't always all that good. He's going to find that the guys that get him to Greg Holland are awfully good for Kansas City.
Checks it up. Makes the clean pick. Throws him out. And that'll retire the side, but we do get 1, and after 1, we lead it by 1.
First 500 fans to purchase his special ticket offer can join us on the outfield warning track of U.S. Cellular Field to take selfies with select players. Visit whitesox.com/selfie Sunday for tickets and more information.
Shortstop Eric Ibar. Hitting at 277, a couple of homers. He's driven in 35. Little guy is not afraid to drive in a big run late in the ball game. Last year he hit 278, 7 homers, and drove in 68. Sounded like it was off the end of the bat. And 1 pitch, 1 out. So here's C.J. Cron. Hitting at 264, 7 homers, 23 driven in.
Outfield's going to play him a couple of steps to the right of center. Not any really exaggerated shift for him. There you see where Adam Eaton is.
Cron's a big man, 6'4", 235. Change-up.
Well, the change-up was good to Chris in the first inning, and it made Cron look awfully bad as he was well out in front of it.
He gone. Another one. Why not?
That's 3 strikeouts for Chris, and he's had at least 6 strikeouts in each of his last 17 games. That's the longest active streak in the major leagues. So he makes him look bad on the changeup on strike 2, makes him look worse on the changeup on strike 3.
Giovatella. Johnny. Hitting at 268, 3 homers, and he's knocked in 38. That strike. And it's 2-1.
Folks out there might remember Giovatella from his days with Kansas City. They gave him a number of opportunities to win the second base job. He always hit in the minor leagues and still swings the bat okay. Defense has been a problem.
He gone. Another changeup. 4 strikeouts now for Safe. And he leads it 1-0.
Newbold, Iowa.
Hey fans, interact with CSN Chicago during tonight's game by using the hashtag White Sox Talk, and make sure to follow us on Twitter for breaking news and more at CSN White Sox. Here's Adam. Adam at 216, 10 homers and 37 driven home. Sox lead at 1-0, breaking the 19-inning scoreless streak by Shoemaker. So that's off the end of the bat. One pitch, one out. And that'll bring up Alexei at 236, 7 homers and 40 driven in. Takes first pitch strike.
Just a gorgeous night for baseball.
An even prettier night for a win. As that breaking ball misses. That one at 91. Just catches the outside edge of the outside corner. Go three hopper. Ibar's good.
He did a nice job that time, knowing that Alexei can really get down the line. Eric Ibar came charging and made the play. You can't wait back at all on this. You want to come in. He smothered the short hop and then got it across in plenty of time.
Well, he's a fun guy to watch. He's a good player.
He's been a good one for a while.
Yeah. Here's Carlos Sanchez at 234, 3 homers and 17 RBIs. And this guy here is going to be fun to watch for a while too.
You got to be really swinging it well to raise that batting average from the low 160s to get it up to 234. But that's what Carlos has been doing, as you can see. During a 6-game hitting streak, he's hitting 350.
But you know, if you take Carlos and take Saladino, both these guys have high baseball acumen. They both know how to play. Probably two highest on our club, as a matter of fact. And as a rule, when you get young guys coming up to the big leagues for a while who have good baseball acumen, it usually takes them a while. And then all of a sudden, once they feel comfortable and they've figured things out and they've seen what goes on, they usually start trending up.
The good part about both of them is they can both field exceptionally well.
Yeah.
So if the hitting comes along, which you think it would, they'd be in pretty good shape, except he looked at a called third, and that's that. So we'll head to the top of the third with a 1-0 score. Sox fans, on Friday, August 14th at 3:10, our White Sox take on the Chicago Cubs. The first 10,000 fans will receive a White Sox rally towel presented by United Airlines. United, proud to fly the White Sox. Purchase tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME. Now that's a pretty good idea at the ballpark or anyplace else, but it happens to be here.
And here is Annetta. Starts him off with a changeup. This 32-year-old veteran. Hitting at 198 homers. He's driven in 29. Just off the plate at 96. Annetta last year hit 252, 7 homers, and drove in 43. Cues that one foul.
And it certainly would appear, at least the first time through the order, that Chris Sale has not only the command of the straight change, but that he hasn't found a whole lot of angels looking for it yet.
Made him up inside.
It's a great place to go after a steady diet of straight changes. Throw that fastball right in on his hands. He can't get his hands out, and a tapper to the left side is the result.
That's why show me a guy who can hit with short arms, and I'll show you a pretty good hitter. He's the only guy that's got a chance of putting any kind of wood on that ball.
Now, you don't find too many at 97 that can get the head of the bat out there.
Nope. And the only people who can really be effective hitting short with short arms are guys who have strong hands. There's the strike. Featherston, 25 years old, got a little pop. 276 minor league hitter. High pop up right side. Ivy.
The Angels, under Bill Stoneman, decided that they were going to add to their roster David DeJesus, David Murphy, Shane Victorino, and Connor Gillespie. As you can see so far, outside of a game-winning hit by David Murphy, the acquired players have struggled at the Big A.
I think that home run by Connor was the one that beat Kluber in Cleveland.
He also apparently made an excellent defensive play to help save a game.
That ball into right center field. Nobody's going to get it. Victorino on his way. Third base, and he will get there. So 2-out triple.
And once this cutoff sailed over the head of Sanchez, Victorino was off to the races. He sees it in the gap, and he's not going to take a double for granted. He's turning it on. He's taking a look. He realizes that they're having some trouble with it. That's when he easily makes it into third base. Well, it's been a long time between triples for Shane Victorino.
Well, that's what they called him in Philly, the Flying Hawaiian.
Boy, at sometimes he was just outstanding for them.
Here's Calhoun. The more you see this guy, the more you like him. Cole Calhoun, what a great name. Grounded out 3-1. Saladino's got him, and that'll retire the side. The 2-out triple goes for naught. Go to the bottom of the third, leading 1-0.
invited to stay for a post-game fireworks show presented by Magellan Corporation. Purchase tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME.
Tyler Flowers will lead it off. And back to the top of the order with Eaton and Saladino. Tyler hitting in .217, 7 homers, 28 driven in. Oh, he got a cookie and missed it.
That was the first straight change he's thrown. It was 80 miles an hour, and it was up in the zone, and normally these get punished. This time, fouled straight back.
Glad to see Tyler back in there. He had to leave the game yesterday after 7. Dehydration.
I understand it was awfully humid and very hot in Kansas City.
1-2.
That's why you look back at all the games under all the conditions Pudge Rodriguez played in Texas, and you wonder how he played all of those games all of those years. That is one steaming place during the summertime.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Run on 2 hits, no errors for us. No runs, 2 hits, no errors for them. Here in the bottom of the 3rd, if you're just tuning in.
That was a good call by Manny Gonzalez. That ball just off the corner. Tyler with a good eye runs the count full.
Outfield for the most part straight up. Bit of a gap out there in right center. First of 3 against these guys and an off day on Thursday, and then the Cubs come into our place Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. That ball hit deep into center field. Trout back. Stretch. He looks up. You can't put it on the board. Yeah. It just reached out. That showed you how strong he is.
That's home run number 18 given up by Shoemaker. And the 8th home run of the year for Tyler Flowers is now driven in 29. And Shoemaker will give up a lot of home runs because he keeps a lot of pitches up in the zone. This one, however, is thigh high. And our 4th home run replay will show you that Mike Trout just runs out of room at the 400 mark. Unlike Anaheim, it's a little more lively in this ballpark.
There's a breaking ball strike to Adam. You know, Shoemaker and all those Angel pitchers are used to seeing Mike Trout go up and over a fence and bring it back in.
He's done that a few times.
Yeah, he's our new Torrey Hunter in the American League as far as going up over the fence and bringing him back in. Adam singled and scored in the first. And of course, with that home run by Tyler, Alex Snellius family, Christine O'Reilly, and White Sox charities hook up once again in loving memory of Ursula. One out.
That was that splitter that works so well when you get ahead of a hitter. That's just a 2nd strikeout for Shoemaker.
Here's Saladino with Adam on first base. He rocketed a single in the hole between first and second. Put Adam on third. Right at the top of the zone.
Figured if once was good, he'd go back up there again and see just how high that strike zone was going to get called upstairs. That one didn't.
And the count moves to 3-1. Abreu on deck. Very pleasant evening here in the city. Beautiful, 77 degrees. And hits him on the fist. So 2 down. So here's Abreu. Shoemaker hit him on the fist. He popped up right side.
His Angel Ball Club comes in at 59-51, just a half game in back of Houston for the lead in the AL West. However, they've lost 6 of their last 10 games.
And that's one of the best in the business you're just looking at, Mike Scioscia. Getting after that 91-mile-an-hour high fastball. Sox hitting at 249 with that 4.10 ERA. 0-2 the count.
That fastball on the outside corner just barely had a piece of the plate. Certainly too close to take, and Jose was able to foul it off.
And just got a piece of it. Count hangs at 0-2. Tomorrow night, a couple of southpaws going. Carlos Rodon for us and Hector Santiago. Hector, former Sox southpaw.
Hector's had a pretty good year.
Yes, he has. I follow Hector all the time.
Nice guy, good athlete. 2.78 ERA with a 7-5 record.
That's in 21 starts.
Yeah, things have worked out very well for him. And he's right in the middle of a wild card race.
That'll retire the side, so that is the 3rd strikeout for Shoemaker.
rolled over his wrist trying to make a catch in the outfield. He didn't make the catch. He did come away with a very sore wrist. You can watch it here as he rolls over it. Now, he stayed in the game, went 4 for 4 that day, but he had to sit out the entire Houston series, and Houston swept the Angels.
And he doubled his first time up here. Just ripped one into left field. So he has 20 doubles, a couple triples, 33 homers, and 69 driven in.
Tyler Flowers wanted the last 2 pitches up, which is a very good idea to Mike Trout. Knee to the thigh. He can hit him awfully hard.
And watch how he gets out of the box on this bullet in the left field. That big man, like Javi Garcia, gives you everything he's got each and every day. They will bust it out of that box.
And to show you that the draft is not an exact science, he was the 25th pick in the first round. The Angels had the 24th and the 25th pick, meaning 23 teams passed on Trout. Never dreaming that he would become what you're looking at now, one of the greatest players in baseball. Finished second twice in the MVP before finally winning it last year. 4-time All-Star, not bad.
Just did get a piece of that changeup. And a full count.
That's 2 of the really great stars in the game going head to head. I would say this situation for each of them is what they relish, going mano a mano against the best in the business. Both of them believing that they're better than the other guy. That's the only way you can approach the confrontation. Pitch number 11 on the way.
Yeah, as a rule, he sees quite a few pitches as a rule. But he's also always ready for that first ball fastball. That one at 99 from Chris.
Well, he reached back, got everything he had, and tried to throw it by him. Trout has fanned 107 times this year. That's in under 400 at bats.
Just think, 40, 50 years ago, they would have DQ'd him for that.
That's true. Now they accept a few more strikeouts.
Yeah.
And Trout has really battled. This is pitch number 13 coming up, and the fans roaring.
That one at 98 was off the plate. So the leadoff walk.
The appeal to Marcus Patillo. It is awfully close. And he winds up at first base. So Trout does get a walk. That's his 55th of the year.
He's tied for second in pitches seen in plate appearances, 4.31.
That's why he hits the ball out of the park a lot.
The more pitches you see, the more dangerous you become. There was pitched just a little too low. Albert struck out on a good changeup.
Well, surprisingly for Albert, he's only grounded into 7 double plays this year, and for a guy that can't run real well, that's surprising. It's also surprising he's only fanned 53 times.
Well, here's an astonishing stat for me from Albert. This is his 15th year in the big leagues. This man is 259 games over 500. He's only played on 2 losing seasons. One with the Cardinals and one with the Angels. 259 over 500.
And not all of it, but a huge portion of it was him.
Gotta believe it. Most of it was in St. Louis.
I saw him when he broke in. I was in, at the time, what they called the Bank One Ballpark in Arizona, when he broke in the league and faced Schilling and Johnson as the first 2 pitchers he ever faced. Johnson throwing first, Schilling throwing second, and then a guy named Elmer Descends throwing third. He had a wide open stance. What struck me about him then was, as a kid, and he was a kid, he had great balance and was able to take the ball to all 3 fields with authority. I thought he was terribly impressive.
Trout, just a decent lead. And that ball hit deep into left center. And caught. And caught by Adam Eaton.
Fortunately, Albert didn't get this one on a sweet spot, but he took it all the way to the wall. This ball is low. Albert reaches out, catches it off the end of the bat. He thought at first it was going out of the park. And maybe if the wind was blowing that way, it would have. But it stays in. Adam runs it down. And a big first out of the inning.
He thought he had it. So here's Ibar. Trout 10 for 14 stolen bases. Not exactly the kind of club that Mike Scioscia likes as far as running. He likes to have those guys who will run you right out of the ballpark.
Well, this is one of the slower Angel teams, and he's reunited now with Bill Stoneman.
Well, he didn't put it together.
No, I was going to say, he and Bill Stoneman had some great years, and Jerry DiPoto came in. It was kind of an uneasy piece between the two. DiPoto resigning this year, Stoneman taking over. Now, speculation is that he probably won't be the GM going forward, but they get along so very well, Bill Stoneman and Mike Scioscia. And the ball club's been winning.
That's fouled back. 0-2 the count. Derek Ibar.
Trout stole 49 bases in 2012. And I don't think they want him to steal that many, because you take a beating if you're a base stealer. They need him to hit the ball out of the park and drive in runs.
The only time they want him to run is late in the ball game if they're down a run.
To win a game. To win a game, or put them on the verge of winning a game. There you see 86% lifetime. He's got great speed. They've got to have his bat in the lineup every day.
Alexei barehands it and guns him down. Beautiful play by Alexei.
When this ball hit off the plate, Alexei had a pretty good idea. There was only one way to get Ibar at first base, and as barehand throw in the same motion, he was able to do both. This is pretty impressive, because you see he's got all 4 fingers on the ball as well as his thumb. You can't throw it that way, so you got to slide it in your hand to get it out on the fingertips, which he did. He did it so quickly that he beat Ibar by plenty at first.
And he got Dangle with his body on for the throw.
Yep, that was a pretty impressive play.
So here's Crone. Struck out on a changeup. Breaking ball. Thrown on first pitch in a while. 0-1. That changeup blown away. One and two the count. That went in 97. And he's a bit tardy.
After seeing some straight changes, a lot of straight changes, you would be tardy with that.
Change up. A little too outside for him to bite on. Hard, high, slow, low. Preferably with the slider low. There's the change. Got it. Take another look, going to break on this beautiful play by Alexi Ramirez.
You just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. Brought to you by T-Mobile.
And right now, let's check out our Twitter. One of them today. From Matt Brennan at our Code Straw. Even though they were swept in Kansas City, do the Sox deserve credit for how close they came in some of those ball games? Not at all, Matt.
I feel the exact same way. There's no moral victories at this point when you're trying to get to the playoffs via the wild card. Moral victories don't count. Victories count.
Close is only good.
A couple of things.
Grenades and horseshoes.
Just a couple.
No, sir. Melky. Sacrifice fly. Picking up his 56th RBI. Albert waiting on it. Makes his own hop. One out.
The Angels still owe that man who made that play a great deal of money. Now Albert is bouncing back this year, having a very good year for him. But heading into this season, he was still owed the next 7 seasons, $189 million as a 35-year-old player. They paid dearly for him, but he's brought in a whole lot of people from when they signed him until now.
Artie Moreno is obviously a very smart businessman. Artie Moreno would not pay it unless he could afford it. I am so happy that these players are making the kind of money that they make today.
I don't begrudge him a dime of it.
I love it.
You're worth exactly what somebody will pay you, not anything more, not anything less. Yes. They're the top infinitesimal percentage of their ability group in this game in the world. And when you're at the top in a sport that churns out dollars, players deserve it.
Oh, boy, way back. They just look up. He hung it. He heard it. A bomb by Avi. And it's 3-0.
That's 2 home runs. A solo shot by Tyler Flowers last inning, and the 10th of the year, and 39th driven in by Avi here. That one at 83 miles an hour, right over the middle of the plate. Our Ford home run replay, and that one just sat there. And Avi hit it a long way. A very long way.
So here's LaRoche. And once again, Alex and Elias family, Christine O'Reilly and White Sox Charities hook up in loving memory of Ursula for every Sox homer.
And that's 19 of them given up by Shoemaker. He now leads the team in that department.
They estimated that one at 428, and whoever measured it, I'd like to buy some lumber from them.
That looked like it had a little more on it than that.
Yeah.
He got a whole lot of that ball.
The ball hit hard, but Albert got that fanny down, got the glove down, eyesight down, and makes the play.
I do remember many years ago, Albert was a third baseman, and they were thinking about maybe the outfield. I talked to Tony La Russa at the time, the longtime manager of the Cardinals, and I said, what are you going to do with Albert? He said, one day in the not-too-distant future, he will be a Gold Glove first baseman because he's got great hands. And that's exactly how it worked out.
Alexei fouls that back right side. Ibar made a good play to get Alexei his first at bat.
Here's a young Angel fan. Certainly not enjoying this one. Sox fans, however, certainly are.
Ibar not going to get that
one. Alexei goes up and out of the zone and takes this one right back up the middle. This is not even close to a strike. He just barely eases it by Ibar.
Well, I like it when we play against clubs that have a good shortstop because Alexei seems to play a little higher level. That's what motivates him in these games with good shortstops. So here's Sanchez. Saw some pitches, but caught looking his first trip.
It's also a pretty decent situation to run in that if Alexei does get thrown out, and odds are overwhelming that he will steal it successfully, you lead off with Sanchez next inning. Alexei 14 steals in 18 attempts.
High and to short. Right center field. But a bomb off the bat of Avi Garcia. And we lead it 3-0.
'28, presented by St. Xavier University. Come out to the ballpark for a tribute to the King of Rock and Roll, featuring performances by an Elvis tribute artist and a post-game fireworks show. To purchase tickets, visit whitesox.com. Always a great night at the ballpark. Elvis night.
Givatella takes ball one. He struck out on a changeup his first trip. Short into center field, and that's going to fall. A little Kansas City special right there.
Only the third hit of the night as Chris has fanned 5, walked 1, and has a 3-run lead.
And there you see the Angel broadcasters. Left Mark Gubicza, former 20-game winner, Victor Rojas, son of Cookie. 2 outstanding announcers and 2 outstanding guys.
Gooby was a terrific pitcher.
Oh, Gooby, you better believe it. All right, take your time, boys. You got plenty of them. Rack them up.
Not much a pitcher likes better than this, and that is first ball hunting, hitting it on the ground into a very easy 6-4-3. So after a leadoff blooper, pretty easy double play.
Yeah, Gooby was one of the first guys I tried to trade for when I was here.
I don't blame him. He threw hard.
Well, this is before he got to that point.
Okay.
But you get that sinker he had. Plus, Gooby knock you right on your behind too.
He's a big guy.
There's the strike. Featherston popped up to right field. Jimmy Olsen out in Seattle. Ace Reporter as that's into right field. And that's a nice double play. Pop up in the inning. Halfway home, we lead at 3-0. Three 5-0 for us. 3-0 for them in game one of this three-game set. Here's Tyler. And here's what he did leading off the third inning.
Tyler got one down and out of the plate and took it over the head of Mike Trout. Out of the ballpark. His 8th, his 29th driven in.
Ball hit hard, sucked up by Taylor Featherston. One out.
He's got real good hands. That's never been a problem. Plus, he has a very strong arm. But third base being a run-producing position normally on a contending team, they're not sure if Taylor can do it.
Well, if you get yourself a guy who's, let's put it this way, in the middle of the pack as far as defense goes, and he's going to hit you 20, 25 home runs, driving 80 and 90 runs, then you live with that. If he's not going to do that, the corners today, this game has become so fast, it's gotten so fast, you better have corners who can pick it over there. If you don't, you're going to lose a lot of games.
Well, I'm sure you remember the time, and it was not all that long ago, where they took a defensive liability who could really hit and say, well, let's stick him at first base. I mean, it's no problem. He didn't have to run in the outfield. Those days are also gone. You really have to be able to field if you're going to play first every day.
Yeah, the game, people say, well, the game doesn't change. Certainly the game changes. As players change, culture changes, the game changes. The rules are the same basically, but the game itself changes. Just like we said, he gets him that pitch right at the top of the zone. Adam now 1 for 3. Run scored in the first.
This one drifts back. It's got the plate, but just barely the top part of the zone, and Adam thought it was high. Gonzalez thought it was good enough.
We mentioned Trout earlier with all those strikeouts. You go back 40 or 50 years. Now, he still would have been playing because he's putting those numbers up. But if he wasn't putting anywhere close to those numbers up, he wouldn't have played because striking out 100 times was a no-no. Saladino 1 for 2 with a stolen base. That ball hit hard on the hanger. Trout got a good jump. He's there. And that'll retire the side. We're into the 6th, leading 3-0.
To 1 p.m., the Chicago White Sox Volunteer Corps and First Merit Bank are teaming up to clean up the Elliott Donnelly Youth Center and host an end-of-the-summer barbecue for the youth and families at the center. For more information, please visit whitesox.com/volunteercorps.
Top of the order here in the top of the 6th for the Halos. It'll be Victorino, Calhoun, and Trout. Victorino has struck out and tripled. And triple into right center field. In the end, this could be a very, very huge pickup for the Angels.
If he stays healthy, he can make a difference.
Well, if he stays healthy, he's a game changer.
Doesn't have the great speed he once has, still has very good speed. Had some problems physically this year in Boston. It's one of the reasons why the Red Sox let him go.
Adam.
Chris Sale's pitching line sponsored by American Sale.
Calhoun bounced out 3-1 and 5-3. Breaking ball hangs inside.
Chris has had his problems with the left-handers lately, although not with Calhoun tonight.
Another breaking ball, and count 2-0.
Somewhat surprisingly, left-handers hitting .469 against Chris Sale in the past month. That is most un-Sale-like.
Most of it's been on left-handers on the fastball.
Yeah. the numbers that Mike Trout has piled up. We'll take a look at just another one of them. Most home runs before the age of 24. Eddie Matthews and Mel Ott leading the pack. Ken Griffey Jr. at 132, and Mike Trout and Frank Robinson at 130. And he turned 24 Friday and happened to hit one out that day.
He has doubled and he has walked in this game as he takes right at the bottom of the zone. That could have gone either way. Oh, a nice little Cantini bounce. We saw the speed of Mike Trout wasn't taking any chances whatsoever as he smiles, and that'll do it. Right here on CSN. It'll be Abreu, Cabrera, and Garcia at the bottom of the sixth. Sox with a 3-0 lead as you check out our Comcast Sportsnet tail of the tape. Jose has popped up and struck out. Want to know the count. And the count 3-0. There's one. I was mentioning earlier that 13-pitch walk that Trout worked against Chris Sale to lead off the fourth inning. That's the longest at bat of Trout's career and also Chris Sale's career. And there's a good way to start it.
That's pretty amazing. Three and one count, and Jose looking for something preferably in. He's able to get the good part of the bat on it, taking it into left field.
So I'm get those arms in. Try to extend on that pitch, and you're absolutely going to knock some thumbnails off. Here's Melky, 0 for 1 with a sacrifice fly. High and wide.
Iannetta coming out to have a word with Shoemaker. And Melky in the last 18 hitting almost 400. 3 home runs. He's hit 11 doubles, driving in 14, scoring. Driving in 19, scoring 14. Pretty impressive run for Melky. Hitting close to 300 from the left side.
There's limited slate of action around Major League Baseball. Top of the 6th in Kansas City, still 3-0. Cueto, Johnny Cueto, shutting out the Tigers on just 2 hits. There's a shot base hit down into the corner. Big man making the turn. Now he's going to be held with nobody out on the double by Melky Cabrera. That's his 26th two-bagger.
This ball is down, not quite as inside as he would have liked, and Melky rifles it into the corner. Jose takes a look at it, sees where it's going to go, and then realizes now it's time to pick up the third base coach. And he does pick up Joe McEwing. He holds him at third. Mike Butcher comes out. He's the pitching coach, and he would like to have a word with Shoemaker.
Did you see that little confrontation that the Tigers had in their dugout? What was all that about?
Apparently there was about 3 different plays where it looked like Iglesias was not going all out 100%. One was on a relay cutoff throw, another was on a ground ball, and another was when he went out in a different direction on a relay throw. So I think McCann, their young but very talented catcher, said something that Iglesias took exception to, and that's when the fireworks started.
Javi.
And I think then Anthony Gose agreed with McCann that perhaps the young shortstop, who's exceptionally talented, probably wasn't going out all out as much as he should, and I think Gose then went up and grabbed him by the back of the shirt and tried to explain to him that that's not how they would like to do things in Detroit.
High bar halfway. Right side in. Ivy 1 for 2 with a long home run. Home run coming with 1 out back in the 4th inning. Splitter.
Yeah, that one at 83 miles an hour just kind of settled over the middle of the plate and then settled on its way out.
Two-one pitch. That ball hit deep into right center field. Stretch. Count goes back. He looks up. You can put it in the ball.
That's number 11. He's driven in 4 tonight and 42 for the year. This is a fastball on the outer part of the plate, and he just takes it the opposite way for a home run replay. One to left, one to right. And the next one to center. And Shoemaker was given up 3 home runs tonight. Not the happiest man in the park. Now giving up 20 home runs.
Here's Adam. He's 0 for 2. That's a fair ball. Nice play by Pujols. 1 out.
This one down the line, and Albert has to move toward the line, able to pick it, and then low throw, but easily handled, and all kinds of time.
Alexei's 1 for 2.
Cesar Ramos loosening up in the pen. Shoemaker came in with a 19-inning scoreless streak. That didn't make it out of the first.
Talking with Victor Rojas and Mark Gubazov prior to the game, they said the splitter really had been biting. He said it started off early this year. No, it was just rolling. And lately in this 19 scoreless inning streak he had had some real good movement, quick movement. But he hung that one to Avi for that first home run, and then, as you mentioned, a fastball out over the plate, and he just killed it. Yeah. Low throw. 2 down. So here's Sanchez. Carlos has struck out and gone out to short center. So Carlos hit.
This one catches him on the thigh and bounds away. That's 4th man that Shoemaker has hit this year.
Yeah, he wasn't trying to hit it.
And that's the 5th time that Carlos has been hit.
So here's Tyler. He's 1 for 2. Cranked out his 8th homer, leading off the 3rd inning. Hit him on the fist, flares it right side. Tomorrow night, Carlos Rodon against Hector Santiago. Then on Wednesday, Andrew Haney against Johnny Danks. Johnny pitched so well in Kansas City. Hot, humid, muggy night. Breeze through 5. Made a couple mistakes in the 6th inning. And it certainly appears that Johnny is back.
He's had some exceptional games.
Yes, he has. Cute. Look at this. There's the Kansas City special right there.
This one, another hanger. Well, this one hung so far inside that Tyler could not get the good part of the bat on it, and that's going to be it for Shoemaker as Mike Socha comes out. So we'll see Ramos coming in, and as he does, we'll step out and be back after these messages. On for the 44th time. He's 2-0 with a 1.56 ERA. Some pretty impressive numbers. Just 8 walks. Doesn't strike out a whole lot of people, but he's given up just a couple of home runs this year. And he inherits runners at the corners and 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th inning. It's all Sox, 6-0.
Adam is singled and scored. That was leading off the bottom of the 1st. He got us off to a real good start. He's 1 for 3. So runners at the corners, 2 out. And blocked nicely by Chris Iannetta. 6-9-0 for our guys. 0-3-0 for their guys. 3 home runs. 1 by Flowers and 2 by Avi. Another pitch down low. Another baseball hits the dirt.
And another one leaves the field of play.
That would have really upset you and your time frame.
I mean, if the umpire doesn't call for it, don't hand it to him. Throw it back to me.
These pitchers are all alike, always looking to get an edge.
Well, that goes hand in hand with our Twitter question from Cynthia at Cynthia Duke. Seems like more baseballs being replaced. What constitutes the umpire replacing the ball? Well, a catcher can hand it to him. He'll look at it. A pitcher can ask for another ball. Or the umpire will look at it. If he sees a scuff or a blemish, he'll throw it out. And one of the reasons why more baseballs are thrown out these days, every pitch that's even remotely close to the dirt at the plate, the catcher just reaches back, hands it to the umpire, who tosses it out of play and hands him a new one.
Three-one pitch. And there's a base hit. And it's a 7-0 ball game. Attaboy, Adam.
To go a step further on that question from Cynthia, you know, some of my really good friends in baseball told me that some pitchers would actually have catchers scuff the baseball for them. Now, I know that that's something that is frowned upon, but it happened on occasion because the ball will always pull toward the scuff. If you are a right-hand pitcher pitching to a right-hand hitter, well, pull away from the scuff, excuse me. You can have the scuff at the hitter. It will look like a tremendous cutter away from it.
That's the same thing on a golf ball. If your fairways are wet and you get a little piece of mud on the golf ball, and it's on the right side, that golf ball is going left.
I thought you were going to say the ball was scuffed because I lose them before they get scuffed.
Let me tell you something. To be completely above board on this, there they chop. Cooperstown is filled with pitchers who scuff balls and hitters who had cork bats. But three-run homer by Avi.
To New York to see the White Sox battle the Yankees. You also get a chance to throw out the first pitch at a White Sox game. Great offers from Famous Dave's and discount White Sox tickets. Head to your local Famous Dave's today for your chance to be a winner. Chris Sale's been awfully good tonight, completely handcuffing the Angels while his offense has put 7 up for him.
Here's Pujols. $259 games over 500 in his career.
And another amazing stat, he's never struck out 100 times in a season. Despite the fact that he's had home run years of 46, 43, 47, 42. Closest he ever got was his first year. He struck out 93 times.
Well, that's down into the corner. That's going to be a leadoff double for him. I had a conversation with a good friend of mine, probably a week ago when we were talking. I had made the comment that in the last 50 years, the best 3 right-handed hitters come in the league. Not in order, but the best 3 were Miguel Cabrera, Manny Ramirez, Frank Thomas. And he said, what about Albert Pujols? I said, well, make that the best 4 hitters, right-handed hitters to come in the last 50 years.
In 2003, he hit .359. Then he had a huge year, 47 home runs, 135 driven in 2009. And he only struck out 64 times.
Yeah,
that's pretty amazing.
He's been amazing, that's right. Come on, Melky. Attaboy. Stayed with it. So Ibar is retired, 1 out. Yeah, he's one of the better right-handed hitters in the last 50 years coming into baseball.
And Melky came up and yelled in at Pujols, you better get back. He just came in and screamed at Albert, who just barely got back ahead of the throw, which was tossed in. Melky has a lot of fun at this game. And lately, he's had a lot of fun swinging the bat.
Here's Crone. A couple of strikeouts, both times swinging on a changeup. That souvenir right side.
There's an example of Chris and the maturation process of a very, very good, bordering on great pitcher. Is that he's able to throw that fastball at 93 miles an hour. Now, you know he's got 98, 99 in his pocket because we've seen that tonight. But he just tries to dot the outside corner at 93, and he has Cron swinging late on him. And the changing speeds with the same release point and the same arm velocity is the art of pitching.
Well, with the culture changing in baseball, and it has changed in the last 25, 30 years, more and more pitchers are getting away from it because they're being told in high school level, college level, and certainly in professional baseball, go out there and give me all you got for 5 or 6.
Go as hard as you can, as long as you can.
Exactly right.
That's a philosophy that most guys use.
Yeah.
And then the bullpen comes in if it's good and covers the last 9 to 12 outs for you.
Yep. So the pacing part is gone.
Well, Chris was doing anything but pacing when he went head-to-head with Mike Trout, leading off the 4th inning. He really brought out the best in both of them because you talked about the longest at bat on both sides of the equation. 13 pitches, and he walked it.
Tried to backdoor him right there. Yeah, when you get two young stars, two studs like this facing each other, they get up for it. They amp up.
No,
for it.
that was one of the great confrontations we've seen because he got up to 99 miles an hour trying to put away Trout and couldn't do it.
And he walks him.
We talked about the problems in Detroit, and we're not going to see the plays that Iglesias did not appear to give 100%. But McCann said something, and then he went after and pushed McCann. Now, McCann is going to be a leader. David Price, who was his teammate, said he wouldn't be surprised if McCann is wearing a C on his uniform in the not-too-distant future. Well, he allowed Iglesias to hear something about what he didn't feel was 100%, and then Anthony Gose reinforced it not too long after the video you saw.
Here's Givotella with 1 out and 2 on. Takes first pitch strike. Well, that's the way it should be.
Well, you've always said that you don't mind seeing that.
I love it. I love when a guy, when his teammates feel like he has not given it all, dogged the play, let them take care of it, not the manager. There's a roller right there, and that's down into the corner. So they're going to wave Cron around as well, and it's a 7-2 ball game on the double. He got a cookie. And didn't kill it, but got it in the right spot.
19th double. He's now driven in 40 as Givotella. He doesn't have the greatest glove in the world, but can hit. Takes it down the line, and that's going to bring Don Cooper out from the dugout.
And the funny thing about it, that confrontation there in Detroit, is that filters itself all the way through the system. When I first came into baseball, I was 17 years old. And one of the first things that I learned and heard is that when a guy didn't bust it down the line or dogged it on the play or something, you get on it. You get on it. Don't wait for the manager to get on it. And that makes it easier on the manager.
Well, that's one of the things that Ron Gardner, in his long stint as a manager of the Minnesota Twins at the time, he had Michael Kadire, and he had well, Mauer was just really coming on.
Yeah, Ken Herbeck.
Well,
that was TK.
Yeah, he had some guys who would take care of it.
That's into short left field. Elke got it for a 2 down. Yeah, they always had policemen, so to speak, or several of them.
And Morneau was another one. He mentioned to me that Dyer and Morneau would go when something was done that shouldn't have been done. They would walk by Gardy and just say, "I got this, Skip," and then they would go and talk to whoever it was. And Gardy told me, if they do it, then I don't get involved. It's not a big deal. That's the way it should. He said, I don't mind addressing things. I would just assume that these two guys took care of whatever they could take care of, and then we'll deal with the rest.
Here's Featherston. Takes first pitch strike. Taylor, 25 years old. Oh, and 2 the count.
Two-seam fastball has been between 89 and 99. We saw 99 to Trout, the changeup, 83 to 89. The slider, 75 to 82.
Two in, 2 out, 1 on. And the 0-2 pitch. He gone. 7th inning stretch. We lead it 7-2.
Photo to hashtag Chicago Data Strong Fan. You just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile.
It'll be Abreu, Cabrera, and Garcia. Baseball 1. Well, they started off that 4-run 6th with a solid single to left. That's softly hit into right field, and that's going to fall for a base hit. Kansas City special there.
That's really a tremendous advantage if you're very strong, and that is the outfielders having to respect that strength, have to play a whole lot deeper than they normally would. This one is taken off the ground and dumped in front of Calhoun. Jose with his second hit of the night.
Here's Melky. Melky ripped a double down into the right field corner. He's 1 for 2 with a sacrifice fly and a run scored. Takes a strike right at the bottom of the zone.
Ramos originally drafted by the Padres in the first round in 2005. He was the 35th overall choice.
Solid single. Milwaukee.
Here's our Xfinity high-speed action replays of both home runs by Avisail Garcia. This is a solo shot as he got a breaking ball and a splitter. And then he got a fastball away, and this was a 3-run homer, this coming in the fourth. So homered in the fourth, homered in the sixth. The sixth being the 3-run shot. A big night for Avi.
Outfield slightly to the right. And that ball hit into left center field. Trout with that jump and that speed, though. Makes the catch for out number 1. Boy, he can close in a hurry. That man, 235 pounds.
When that left the bat, he had a pretty good idea that that one would fall. But Trout got a very good jump and then just ran it down in the alley.
Adams Dewey's 0 for 3. He's going out to center, and twice he has grounded out to his counterpart, Albert Pujols. You know, getting back to that Detroit incident and how it goes to affect the ball club. And that Kansas City team that we had that went on out to Oakland in 1968 and won 5 consecutive divisional titles and 3 consecutive world championships. There was a problem in that clubhouse. I'm not saying every day, but at least once or twice a week there would be a confrontation. Alvin Dark was the manager. He didn't have to say a thing. He just let them go. And that club went on out there, and they took care of the problems themselves.
They also had a few Hall of Fame players and some outstanding pitchers.
They all knew how to play the game. They all knew how to play the game. They didn't come to the ballpark every day saying, well, let's go kick some behind. They went to the ballpark with the attitude, hey, let's just make the plays, don't make any mental mistakes, and let the other team beat themselves. Close pitch goes Adams' way.
Jose Alvarez loosening in the pen.
There's a strike in the count. 3-1.
Sounded like a cracked bat.
Yeah. Well, at the end, it sounded like it. You can't tell with these maple bats.
But he did indeed crack it.
Yeah, he's going to have to get another piece of maple. The $100 bill just bit the dust. So 2 on, 1 out. And a high pop-up. Two down. Here's Alexei. He's 1 for 3. Flips that one right over their dugout. Seven 12-0 for us, 2-5-0 for them here in our half of the 7th inning. We scored 1 in the first, 1 in the third, 1 in the fourth, 4 in the 6th. And they got their 2 in the top half for this inning. Bottom of the 7th at Kansas City, still 3-0. Royals over to Detroit. Final Mets beat the Rockies 4-2 earlier. Those Mets are running some severe stuff out to that mound. Whew.
Their guys have just great arms. You can understand why Sandy Alderson decided that he didn't want to part with any of the young guys. And the Mets have really started to play solid baseball. Winners of 8 of their last 11. Washington came in a game and a half back. And the Mets have added a half game to their lead.
There's a strike, 2-2. Well, that pickup of Cespedes is certainly not going to hurt.
No, and the news out of New York was that David Wright is going to start hitting the baseball, and they could certainly use him back. He gets back there, and all of a sudden that offense looks a whole lot better.
Changes the whole personality of that offense with David Wright. Two-two pitch. Just good eye, good take. Just off the inside corner. Good effort by Ramos. You at second. Melky at first. And the payoff pitch. That's softly hit, and that's going to fall for a base hit. They're going to go for Duncan Humphrey, but the plate is crossed by Abreu before the tag. The run counts, and we'll go to the 8th leading 8-2. Don't miss our Bears training camp reports. Also the latest from around the diamond and much, much more. That's Sportsnet Central tonight after White Sox postgame live on CSN.
The offense continues to produce some runs, and Chris Sale, the beneficiary of that offense, has made it hold up. He's given up a couple of runs, but only 5 hits through 7.
That one mistake to Giavotella for that rolling slider. He hadn't hung many tonight. So it's the top of the order for him. Victorino, Calhoun, and Trout.
Nice to see Chris bounce back after a couple of very tough starts. But he's had pretty good stuff tonight. He's shown us he's still got the big fastball when he needs it. And early he piled up 4 strikeouts the first 2 innings. He's had 2 since then because he's been ahead. So he's just allowing the Angels to get themselves out on pitches that are less than what he usually will throw.
0-2 the count. Talking about those Mets and their pitching. When they score 4 more runs this year, they're 43-7.
Not surprising because they got a whole staff. When you look at their stuff, all 5 starters, they just knock your eyes out.
Yeah. Whole staff with big arms, which is very unusual. He gone. 8 strikeouts now.
Another changeup. He's used it awfully well tonight.
Make that 7 strikeouts.
He's really been impressive to Cole Calhoun because he's had his problems with the left-handers recently. But he has not allowed Calhoun to go out of the infield with anything.
There's a roller, get foul at will.
He's going to make a friend.
He's one of these guys, the more you see Cole Calhoun, the more you like him.
He's a good player now. He's going to get to be a whole lot better player. He's from Buckeye, Arizona, which isn't a huge distance from where our spring training is. Camelback Ranch in Glendale.
Fletch out.
He says he did swing, but this doesn't make it feel any better.
No. You could hear it from up here.
Mike Scioscia is saying it hit him.
I don't know if they have adjusted that rule. I'm going to check after the game.
Well, now they're sending him to first base.
Yeah. But the rule used to be that if you got hit in the hand on a swing, you did not go to first base.
Right. They interpreted it as the hand was part of the bat in those days.
That was the rule. The hand, part of the bat. So evidently they have amended that.
Well, Robin wants to have a talk with Manny Gonzalez about that. And what they want to do is he's going to challenge it. We're at the point now in the 8th inning where you don't have a whole lot to lose if you lose the challenge.
That was the definition. The hand was a part of the bat. But as you said, that didn't make it hurt any less.
No. And at first, Manny Gonzalez said he did indeed swing at it. So I believe he called it a foul ball, I think, at first. Then he took a look at the hand when Mike Scioscia showed him the hand of Cole Calhoun and sent him to first base. But he's got some good hang time on that jump, so it must be singing to him pretty well.
No, Cole, like so many hitters today, turned into it.
And they
say first base. So here comes Robin out to the mound. 104 pitches. Chris has run up there.
Yeah, it could very well be a little method to Robin's madness anyway. You might as well challenge the call and allow your reliever to get loose. And Nate Jones coming in. He looked very impressive in his initial outing in Kansas City. And he's going to come into this one with a big lead. So Chris will get a tremendous hand from the crowd, a standing ovation, and deservedly so. Good performance by our star left-hander. from his minor league rehab stints. That was 9 games, and he threw the ball awfully well. And his first outing at Kansas City, 1 inning with 2 strikeouts. He got the ball up there at 99 miles an hour through that biting slider. And if Nate is healthy, that's a huge addition to the pen. So Chris Sale went 7 1/3. Charged so far with a couple of earned runs on 2 walks. Hit 1, 7 strikeouts. Responsible for Cole Calhoun at first base.
Yeah, the first 2 pitches he threw in KC were 99. So here's Trout, a double, a walk, and a ground out to short. That one at 98. Now another one at 98. And the count 2-0. Pujols on deck.
We didn't exactly take anything off to get it over.
No, he didn't aim it.
Another 98er, but that one had the whole plate.
Eight 13-0 for us. 2-5-0 for them if you're just joining us. And that one at 98, right back through the middle hard. As we mentioned so many times, major league hitters, if you're basically a one-pitch pitcher, or the count, that's why the count is just, they don't care how hard you throw.
No, that was 5 pitches, the same speed, 98 miles an hour. The last one, Trout just rifled back up the middle, and having no problems at all with catching up to 98 because
you got a clean mind.
Oh, for the most part, the mind and the eyes of a hitter are almost like a computer. They're looking at the speed, they're judging the speed of the first pitcher too, and then their eyes are going to tell them where they have to get their hands in the good part of the bat to hit the ball out front and take it, in this case, right back up the middle. So you got to either use deception, use velocity, because if you're going to throw the same speed, you can only get them out with one thing, and that's location. You can't get them out with a velocity variance. And the count came back to haunt him. As you said, you talked about the count. Sometimes you're forced to throw a strike and hope he hits it at somebody.
Well, if you're locating a 98-mile-an-hour fastball where you want it, the hitter's got no chance. I don't care if that's the only pitch you got or not. But if you're not pinpoint with it, you're going to get hit hard.
Then it's a problem.
Here's Pujols. Takes first pitch strike. That one at 99.
Zach Putnam loosening in the pen, and he's getting ready in a hurry.
Pujols has struck out, going out deep to right center and doubled. The Roach can't get him. They get him at first. Yes. Just a little bobble there they couldn't get. Trout at second with that speed of his. But Albert with his speed, they were able to get him at first. So 2 down.
Just saving there, and Nate does a nice job of getting to the bag and acting like a first baseman. Because if he's spectating, it's going to be bases loaded and only 1 out. But he's exactly where he's supposed to be, and they get Pujols at first base. A circuitous 3-6-1 put out at first.
Here's Ibar. Eric is 0 for 3. Last time up, lined out to Melky in left field. Melky short out there. There's first pitch strike at 98. Watch out. Another thing, to me, being around in this game all the parts of 7 decades now, I would bet you that if we had the way to find out the average fastball thrown in a baseball game today as opposed to 30 or 40 years, 50 years ago, 40 years ago, I would bet you it's at least 4 to 5 miles an hour faster.
Well, now
we had some hard throwers. Don't get me wrong.
But you had the starters who were hard throwers because many times the guys they call middle relievers, they were guys without great stuff, without big fastballs that were in your bullpen.
That's why they were in the bullpen.
Yeah, and they would come out, and a lot of hitters would take advantage of those guys.
That ball hit high and deep into center field, but we got a man there right back on the track. And then we count the side. We go to the bottom of the 8th, leading by 6.
About hit the Angels 13-6 as Jose Alvarez comes out for the 39th time. He's 2-3. His ERA 3.5. 42 strikeouts and 46 in the third, and that's pretty good. So yet another left-hander comes out of the Angel pen, and he's the third pitcher of the night for Mike Scioscia.
Sanchez, Flowers, then back to the top of the order with Adam Eaton. Sanchez 0 for 2. He was hit by a pitch, and he also scored a run as that pitch fouled away right side. 8-13-0 for us, 2-6-0 for them in the first of this 3-game set and the 6-game homestand. 2 more with these guys, off day Thursday, then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Joe Madden's club comes down. One and one to count.
And knowing that Jake Arrieta threw yesterday, he's going to be in line to face us, I would assume, one of the first 2 here at U.S. Cellular Field.
All speed out in front. Well, the best stuff we have seen this year, in order, is Jake Arrieta and Corey Kluber. That's the best stuff we've seen all year long.
And Arrieta has kept it going because Nobody seemed to beat him.
Well, that game he pitched against us, I'm telling you, could have put a combination of the American League and the National League All-Stars up there, and he still was going to stick it up there behind. That's how good he was that day. Flowers 2 for 3, a homer and a single. Takes first pitch right out the edge of the outside corner. Usually when you're here on August 10th, played all these games, this is number 110 for us. If you're going to talk about who's the best stuff you've seen all year, usually it's the left-hander. But not this year.
We're just looking around at everybody's pitching stats. We're seeing a lot of great young pitchers burst on the scene in the last couple of years.
The best I've ever seen come in.
Wow. I mean, it's impressive.
This game is so beautiful now because of all the great young talent. Never seen this many good young players come into Major League Baseball.
Well, on the offensive side, Carlos Correa from Houston is just about as good as anybody to burst on the scene in quite some time. He's got a chance to be one of the great ones in every aspect of the game.
He's got a chance to be another Alex Rodriguez when Alex came in. Foul down. Got a piece of Iannetta. Gap out there in left center. He got him. He knew it. 2 down.
Time now for AT&T U-verse Multiview. Ramirez had a base hit. Jose Abreu realizing now he's got to pick it up because there was going to be a play at third. Melky gets a face burger for his efforts, gets thrown out at third and then punched in the nose. But the run does score. So all's well that ends well except for Melky.
2 out. And here's Adam, 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run scored. He started us off in great fashion, bottom of the first, with a solid single to center. And Saladino moved him to third with solid base hit to right.
For me, and I'm not speaking here out of any self-interest, but I think the defining hit of the game was
Don't go there.
Adam Eaton leading up the ball game.
Don't go there.
Defining hit.
Senator. You sound like one of those guys in Washington now.
Well,
what do they call them? Lobbyists?
Lobbyists, yes. Yeah. Lobbyists are good.
I know one thing. They make a lot of money.
They do that.
Breaking ball. Had him out in front. But he's busting it down the line. That's what we like to see. Meanwhile, we're into the ninth.
products, apparel, and souvenirs. Stop by the Chicago Sports Depot, located at Gate 5, to get your authentic on-field merchandise and support your favorite home teams. Call 312-674-5SOX for more information or visit chicagosportsdepot.com.
C.J. Cron, 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. And the count 0-2.
Reaches out and just missed down the line.
He gone.
That was a nasty slider. When you can throw that slider at 90 miles an hour and you get ahead of the hitter, he can't lay off this. And there's nobody around that can hit that.
Givatello 2 for 3. And there's one off the end of the bat, so 2 outs.
Follow live White Sox baseball with MLB.com at bat on your smartphone or tablet. Stay connected to the White Sox all season wherever you are with MLB.TV Game of the Day. Get in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay previews, radio broadcast, and more. Download MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball.
$20,000 plus. And Zionetta 0 for 3. Can't get it. Just tuning in, pitchers of record are the starters. Chris Sale going for his 10th. And Matt Shoemaker will now be 5 and 8. And this ball comes down. This game is over for the Sox. Come in here against a good Angel Ball Club after being swept in Kansas City. And Chris Sale was just awesome.
I thought that he threw a brilliant ball game at 7 1/3 with a couple of runs on 5 hits. Just like we promised you earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. And here's our Miller moments, and they came off the bat of Avi Garcia. 2 home runs. This a roller. He hit it out of the park in left center field. That coming in the 4th inning. Then in the 6th, a 3-run homer the opposite way and a fastball outside. That was more than enough offense for Chris Sale. As Avi had a big night, and so did our Sox.
So this is the first of 3 against these guys and the first of 6 on this homestand. Tomorrow will be Carlos Rodon against Hector Santiago, former Sox left-hander. And then on Wednesday night, Andrew Haney against our Johnny Danks. But right now, let's go downfield on Kip Lewis.
All right, thanks, guys. Avi, a couple weeks ago, Robin Ventura said if he can get you to get the ball up in the air, it's going to go out. Have you done anything different to get the ball up in the air and change your mechanics at all at the plate?
I've been working hard with Robin, with the hitting coach, and they help me a lot every day. I came here to work hard and just trying to use my battle hand because I been my top hand, sorry. I'm using right now my top hands, and we do a couple of drills in the cage, trying to get better every day and play hard the most I can.
You guys had that tough series in Kansas City. What was the mentality coming into this series, getting back home?
I mean, play by game, one day at a time, trying to play hard and trying to do something, for the team, trying to do a small thing for the team so we can win the game. So hopefully everything gets like this so we can win more games.
Your GM, Rick Hahn, said before this game that he still believes in this team. He feels like you guys have a shot at the wild card. What does that do for you guys in this 25-man roster, knowing that they still believe that this team can get it done?
Yeah, I mean, we have a hell of a team. We have everything, so we just got to put everything together like we're doing right now and just trying to be positive and play hard the rest of the season.
Avi, appreciate your time. Go dry off.
Thank you, man.
All right, thanks. All right, guys, back to you.
All right, Kip. So, our player of the game is indeed Avisail Garcia. Player of the game so far. Steve Stone, for our Hall of Fame director. Jim Angio for our producer tonight. Todd Benjaminson, our associate producer. Dave Ross. Our technical manager, the fine technical manager, Mark Harper. Also, for the Mayor Mean Joe Group, Mike Mayer, Frank D'Amato, for Doug Bullard. And the executive producer, Jim Cornwell Jr. This is the Hawk. So long, everybody. Coming up next, Subaru Postgame Live with Chuck. All right, Chuck and Bill. You've been watching White Sox baseball on Comcast Sportsnet.